Alright, what is up everybody? It's your boy JD the Prophet and I'm here with episode 3 of the playlist. But before I start, if you're brand new here, please do hit the subscribe button. Make sure you're following me on social media. Should have a nice swipe thing coming up now with Instagram and Twitter. And if you're new to the show, the idea is every single week I talk about 3, 4, 5 songs, albums, artists, whatever. Hopefully stuff that you can add to your playlist, and then hopefully you guys can add stuff to mine in the comments below. So what a week it's been, and I can't start anywhere else but the obvious one. It's got to be Lil Nas X featuring Billy Ray Cyrus, of all people. And we've had quite a week with this song. So myself and Simon, if you don't know, we have the channel Rock Reacts, I'm sure you do. And we reacted to Old Town Road by Lil Nas X, recorded it on Monday, put it up on Tuesday. It started to fly, and then it got to about 52k, and it was blocked. It was blocked by the label, which does happen. Sometimes you can copyright dispute those blocks, and it gets changed to, like, they take all the money, but you can still have the video up. This just wasn't happening with this one. And weirdly, the claim said remix, and I was like, is that original remix? I don't know. A few hours later, suddenly it becomes clear what was happening, and a remix version drops today with none other than Miley Cyrus's dad, Mr. Achy Breaky Heart himself, Billy Ray Cyrus. And quite honestly, what a wonderful end to the story. Yes, it's frustrating that our video is blocked and people can't see it. There's some really good discussion on that video, as much as anything else. I tried re-editing it, almost cutting out the whole song. There's nothing I can do. It's really upsetting. But at least I can talk about it here. So, if you don't know the story, this guy Lil Nas X dropped this sort of country trap song, Old Town Road, got the horses in the back, video's just full of Red Dead Redemption, real fun song, really like it, and it gets kicked off the Billboard country charts, and you can't really see for any other reason other than racism, that kind of underlying subtle racism. Yes, Lil Nas X is black, but that's not really the point. It's more just like a safe space being protected by old, aging people who can't cope with anything else coming in, suddenly being interfered with by a new type of artist trying to change the game a little bit. I mean, it definitely sounded like a country song to me, the British person who doesn't really know that much about country, but they were saying that it doesn't cover the specifics of what makes a country song. Whatever. Billy Ray Cyrus obviously disagrees. He comes in, delivers a fire verse. It elevates the song from a fun little meme thing to what can only be described as going to be a pop smash. It's going to be a pop smash. I mean, in England we don't care so much about specific genres over here. We certainly don't spend our time putting them all into different charts and trying to have our own radio stations for them. Not really. Everything's kind of mixed together in England, and it's for the best. But this is going to be a pop smash. I'm sure this is going to get very high in overall billboards, overall charts everywhere. It's going to do insane numbers because that verse, when he comes in, when Billy Ray comes in, it's amazing. Then when Billy Ray rides over the beat on the offbeat, when the actual 808s come back in, dude, that was the moment. That is a moment that shows not only does Billy Ray Cyrus give a shit, and you can tell by the way he's singing over this, he obviously liked the track. You've seen videos of him on Twitter talking to Lil Nas X in his studio, clearly sees something in the guy, and it's just a beautiful moment, man. It really is. It's like, this is the ultimate and perfect result of this situation. It was already a silver lining for Lil Nas X. The fact that all this controversy had caused this song to blow up, caused his name to get out there, caused him to basically become an artist in the public eye, but through a nasty way. And then Billy Ray Cyrus, one of the OGs of that world, one of the real OGs, comes in and does that, and doesn't try and take over the whole song either. It's still very much the Lil Nas X song, but he just comes in and delivers. I love all the memes of him riding in on a horse on fire. Yeah, when he rides over that beat at the end, you're thinking, yes, I'll quite happily listen to you, Mr. Cyrus, on many, many melodic hip-hop trap songs, whatever you want to call it. All day, open door policy for Mr. Cyrus, as far as I'm concerned. So yeah, I mean, everybody's heard it by now. If you haven't, go and check it out. It's going to be one of those songs that drives you crazy within a couple of weeks. It's going to get overplayed. It's a simple melody. Like most pop songs, you love them for a bit and then they drive you nuts. But I'm very happy for Lil Nas X. I am gutted that our video got blocked. It is a real shame, but it gives me a reason to talk about it here. Right then. Next up, I've had the pleasure of listening to all of Billie Eilish's debut album, which is now, God, it's a week old. Everything goes so fast. So another Billie lighting up the charts. We just dropped our Bad Guy reaction over on Rock Reacts. I'm sure you can go and watch that now if you like. Well, don't watch it now, watch it after this video. But yeah, the album overall is very strong. It's very, very, very strong. And it comes as no surprise to me that she's from an artistic musical background. People call her an industry plant because she's suddenly everywhere. She's got a promo machine behind her. That's just before you could get independent music so easily through the internet. That's just how I found out about all artists. So that doesn't seem as unusual to me. That just feels like the record company just got behind a new artist. It means nothing to me. She's incredibly talented. I've got the track list up here because my memory's terrible. It goes straight in with Bad Guy, which is a good tune. It has Kasabian vibes, actually, weirdly, in that little sort of high-pitched little hook. It's a weird song that's good. Zanny is an excellent song. Very low-key, soft. I love the fact when she has the reverb on her vocals. Really good. Usually See Me in the Crown's a banger. All the Good Girls Go to Hell is very strong. When the Party's Over, you've got Ilo Milo, not too sure how to say it, that was great. Bury a Friend, obviously, is a bit of a banger, we know that by now. And even the long song I Love You at the end just kind of shows her more theatrical side. I mean, everything's theatrical, but I'm in like musical theatre side, but that's a very nice, touching love song, really, and it shows her range. Is this an album I'm necessarily going to sit there and listen to all the time as a 30-something-year-old man? Probably not. But I do enjoy everything that she does. If she comes on the radio, I'm always happy to hear her music. I'm always going to be interested in see what she does next. I'm excited by the fact she's going on tour with the man Denzel Curry. I love the fact she pulls in all sorts of influences. As people know, that's very, very much my sort of bag. And I'm excited to see where she goes next. Hopefully she doesn't just burn bright really young and then flitter away. She has the chance to be somebody with real staying power, I think. We'll see how it goes, but as a debut album, yes, it's got a lot of money behind it. Yes, it's got high production values and all that sort of stuff, but that's just the way the music industry works sometimes. And I think it's very strong. Like I said, not necessarily something I'm going to be having on rotation myself the whole time, and I think it's important to reiterate that, but highly recommended for anybody who's not gone and checked it out. People who like rock music, people who like pop music, people who like hip-hop and rap, melodic hip-hop and trap and all that sort of stuff. There's something in there for everybody, and what a talent, what a real talent, what a real treat to have somebody like that out there in the music industry, plant or not. Right, next up is an interesting one. There's a guy that I like. It's Logic, and it's Logic Supermarket. This is a weird one. It's got Hammered. Melon hammered it. I know Sean C hammered it. I can see why. It's sort of objectively bad, and lyrically it's awful. And I know it's tying into this new book of his. I'm never going to read that book. I barely have time to do everything that I'm doing anyway. I certainly don't have time to read a book by Logic. But I do like Logic, and I think this kind of weird indie album that he's gone for is very, very by the numbers. It uses the most familiar and generic chord patterns you could ever imagine. But because of that, it's quite listenable. There's some absolutely outrageously poor songs like this song. I think it's called Lemon Drop. I assume it's called Lemon Drop. I mean, that's an awful song. It's kind of like sub Red Hot Chili Peppers at their worst. With just awful lyrics about licking a lemon drop. I mean, it should be just cast into the bin of history immediately. But there's some other songs, I mean, like, I guess you're not hearing Logic as Logic, you're hearing this character, whoever he is in the book. I mean, it all sounds a bit teenage. It's all a little bit, heard it all before, falling in love with some girl at the supermarket. There's lines like, I'm not a stalker, but I mean, it's not great. It's not great. I think I went in expecting it to be awful. And I'd be lying to you, and I'd be lying to me if I was to say I didn't find some of it quite tuneful. And the reason it's tuneful is because it uses slick production and those chord patterns that just work. Those chord patterns work in every pop song. They sound good to the human ear, and because of that, it's all right. I like the idea he's out there trying different things. I like a polymath. I like somebody who tries their hands at all sorts of different things. I kind of, I see that in myself a little bit as well. I like to try my hand at all sorts of things. It's an interesting one. What do I want from Logic as an artist? I want the guy that did Under Pressure. I want the guy that did Gang Related. I want the guy that did Confessions of a Dangerous Mind. And I think hopefully that's what we're going to get on this next album. And this is just a little side project for him. I don't know if it's worth kicking it to death. It's not great, but I don't know. It's okay. It's perfectly listenable with bad lyrics and some real low moments. But it's perfectly listenable. It's perfectly listenable. I've heard way worse. Way worse. Alright, we're just going to talk about one more track then on this week's playlist because we've gone into depth on a couple of albums. And it's by a band called The National. Like, the idea of this is to do music from all sorts of genres. And if you've never heard The National, they're a very unusual, I guess you class them as an indie band, very atmospheric, kind of downbeat indie band. with the type of music that you put headphones on and kind of get taken away somewhere by these complex but very foreboding almost and disquieting pieces of music, but they're all hauntingly beautiful. And the new track Light Years is just them doing what they do. It has this absolutely gorgeous piano hook. I'm going to risk a copyright claim by just playing it through my speakers now, literally just the beginning of it. That just drives this beautiful song. I'd highly recommend, if you like the softer side of XXXTentacion, if you like, the softer side of the more melodic elements of hip-hop, but you've not really delved much into indie, I think there are a lot of artists out there that you will enjoy, and I think that's the reason I've gone on to enjoy these artists like X and other ones that we've discovered in the last year or so. Highly recommend checking this song out. One to put on the headphones, one to shut your eyes, one to be taken away by. And then if you like that, it's worth kind of diving into their back catalogue a little bit. They've got a lot of albums. The album Boxer, which is quite old now, 2007, is one to really allow yourself to be taken away by. Don't expect to leave it in necessarily the most upbeat mood to go and do something, but if you're feeling melancholy, they're a very special band. And that's the idea of this show, is to chat about stuff that we're all listening to, but also get some back and forth. And here's some stuff that you've never heard before, and you guys can recommend me some stuff that I've never heard before that wouldn't necessarily work for a Rock Reacts reaction. You know, this song, as much as I'd love to, probably wouldn't work for a Rock Reacts reaction. For starters, me and Milou would just be sat there, and you know, realistically, you kind of know some songs aren't going to get the views, which is a shame, but that's just the way YouTube works. But this show hopefully makes up for that a little bit. Okay, that's it for the music side. I normally do a game of the week, but I'm not going to this week. I haven't made the kind of progress with Sekiro that I would like, and I'm actually reviewing another game at the moment that is currently under embargo, so I can talk about that next week. But I'm going to be ploughing on with Division 2, a little bit of Apex, and I'm going to be ploughing on with Sekiro, obviously. So expect some more videos on that coming up on Profit Plays. If you're not going to subscribe to that, go and subscribe to that now. And then, show of the week. I'm a big fan of stand-up comedy, and I watched the Nate Bargatze. I think that's how it's pronounced. I will write it on the screen. His new stand-up, his new special that just hit Netflix. Really, really funny. Really funny guy. I'd seen his little half-an-hour special on something called The Stand-Ups, which is on there. Me and my wife watch loads and loads of stand-up on Netflix. And quite often we turn stuff off after 5 minutes because we kind of know it's not going to work for us. But he was one that definitely played the whole thing. Tons of laughs. A real laid-back Tennessee guy, but not like typically Southern comedy. Just slick observational comedy. Not too outrageous. Not too offensive. Nothing wrong with any of that either. But just very pleasant. Somewhere between Tom Segura and Jim Gaffigan, with a little bit of Aziz Ansari in there. But definitely his own man as well. Real nice vibe to him, real nice energy. And then once you kind of get his personality, his energy, by the end of it, I was in tears by his closing bit. His closing bit was killer. Reacting to comedy, there's an idea. That seems to get some serious views. But that's it for this week's playlist. So a little tip for people who got to the end. Expect, coming this week, I say this week, coming next week, starting next week, we're going to have the Kendrick Lamar season. Full album reactions are coming. Truth, I was supposed to do Section 80 this week, but I record these in a conservatory in my house. It's the only place I can record them. And it rained so heavily in stupid England this week. It was so noisy on the day I was going to record it on Thursday. It was like this in here. It was like a storm, a proper storm with hail and everything. I couldn't record it. I couldn't do that to you guys. So, yes, I'm going to sit down. I'm going to start with Section 80. Then it's going to be Good Kid, Mad City. Then it's going to be To Build a Butterfly, which I think is going to do crazy numbers on this channel. And then I will do Damn again, despite having heard it, because it'd be fun to re-listen to it again. Alright, that is this week's playlist. Please do let me know what you're listening to this week. If you've listened to any of the stuff we've talked about. I like this show. I like doing this. I like the idea of chatting about music. I like the idea of doing stuff that isn't necessarily reactions as much as I love doing music reactions. And to be honest, I do like the idea of putting up a video that isn't going to get blocked straight away. But I think this is going to be a fun show, and I'm going to keep doing it every single week. But I need you guys as well. to be interacting, and you guys are killing it already. So thank you very much for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already. Tell people about this show. Tell the other Rock Reacts lot. Make sure you jump in the Rock Reacts Discord. I will link it down in the descriptions below. I'm not going to do my own one. Let's all just hang out in the Rock Reacts one. That's already jumping off since we opened that up. Hundreds of people in there talking music. That's very exciting. And then I guess I will catch you on the next episode and on the next album reaction. So I've been John Denton, JD the Prophet. I'll catch you soon. Peace!